If you are thinking about buying or selling a property here in Panama City Beach this summer, this video is for you. This is Mark on the Market, where I'm going to be going over the latest market stats that just came out today, May 1st for Panama City Beach. We're going to get started with the overall market stats for all of Panama City Beach. And what we'll see here is the number of listings is relatively flat, around 2,000 for this whole past year. Absorption rate, this is a measure of inventory in the market. This climbed last year and then it dropped off a little bit, but just over the past 3 months we've seen it shoot up. So we were at right around 9.6 months of inventory, and then now it's shot up all the way up past 11.7. So we've gained 2 months of inventory over these past few months. Sold to list ratio, this is saying like, if I list my property at 100,000, on average people are getting around 91,000, so 91.5% of their original list price. That to me shows that prices are still being listed too high, and then there's also room for negotiation. Days on market, it's kind of all over the place. Now that we're in summer, it's starting to come down a little bit. Hopefully that trend continues, and maybe we'll start to see the market shift the other direction. If we look at the actual summary statistics, we see that the trends kind of continue where we're having downward pressure on prices. Average sale price is down 7% year to date compared to last year. Median sale price is down 6.5%. If we look at just April of 2025 versus 2024, we see that median sale price was down about 5%, but average sale price was up about 5.6%. My guess, there was probably one or two really big sales that were high in price, and that might be shifting that number a little higher. If we look at the number of sold listings, this is the number of closed transactions. Year to date, we're down 16%, so there seems to be a lot less buyer demand than last year. And if we look at April alone, comparing 2025 to 2024, what we see is that it's down close to 30%, so that's not good. If we look at the number of pending listings, we see 13% year to date that we're down, and then for this last month we were down only 4.7%. So that might signal that, hey, we may be heating up just a little bit. Hopefully things are getting a little better. If we look at the number of new listings hitting the market, year to date we're about flat, but this past month we've seen an increase of 7.6. So if you're a seller, that means that you have more competition coming to market. Now we're going to jump into specific zip codes. So the first one that we're going to look at is 32408. And what we'll see here is basically the same trends. Number of listings is relatively flat, around 800 over the past year. Absorption rate, which is that measure of inventory, it's been climbing. It seems like this area has a higher absorption rate than Panama City Beach overall. So they came down, January it hit the low point, 10.48 months, and then it shot up, and now they're sitting at 12.95 months of inventory. So it shot up 2 months as well. Sold to list ratio, that's also hovering around 91%. Days on market, it's coming down just slightly. Average days on market for this zip code is 116 days. If we look at the summary statistics, we'll see the average sale price in this zip code is down 2.4% year to date. But if we look at just this past month, we see that it shot up 23%. So it's saying average sale price was around $550 for April 2025 and around $445 for April 2024. My guess is there must have been a couple really high sales, especially since it's saying the average sale price is above 548. And if we go down here, we see that the number of closed listings above 500,000 was actually down. So to me, it probably had a couple $1 million sales or something that was kind of lifting that number up. If we look at the number of closed transactions, so year to date they're down 22% over on the east end, that 32408 zip code. This past month it was down 33% alone. Pending listings is down about 19%. And if we look at the number of new listings hitting the market, they're actually down year to date, and they're also down this past month. So it seems like a little less competition coming to market over in the 32408 zip code. The next one that we're going to look at is 32407. This is the central part of Panama City Beach. I like to think Breakfast Point, Edgewater, around that area. And what we'll see for The number of listings, this is relatively flat for all of them. It's around 500 to 550 over the past year. Absorption rate, so this one shot up, came down, and we see that same trend where it bottomed out back in January, and now it's shot up. So from January, they were at 9.5 months of inventory. Now they're at 11.3 months of inventory. Not quite as high though as they were in, it looks like August of last year, where they hit their peak of 12.2. And if we look back at this 32408, we see that they're already past where they were in August, October timeframe. If we look at the Panama City Beach overall, we see that we've shot up way past it. So I think the 32408 and potentially the 32413 are the culprits there. But absorption rate here, it's just sitting at around 11.3 months of inventory. Sold to list ratio is right around 91.6%. Days on market has come down this past month. It's sitting at 103 days on average. If we look at the sales statistics, median sale price is down 9% year to date compared to last year. Average sale price is down about 5.6% compared to last year. If we look at just April alone, average sale price in this zip code is down 20% compared to last year. Median sale price is down 26% compared to last year. So my guess is that what's moving here in Panama City Beach right now are the properties that are priced probably below $400,000. To me, I would think Gulf Highlands, that's in the zip code. They've got a bunch of townhouses that are 2 bedrooms or some that are 3, and all of them are probably priced below $400,000. So I think that could be a contributing factor. And then there's some other neighborhoods in this area that are below that $400,000 price point. If we look at the number of sold listings, we see that for the 32407 zip code, it's down about 14% year to date compared to last year. And then last month was even slower. They were down about 21%. If we look at the pending listings, we see that for April alone, it's up about 5%. So that's a good sign, but it's only 2 extra pending listings compared to this time last year. If we look at the year to date number, it's around 14%. If we look at the number of new listings hitting the market over here in the 32407 zip code, we see it's flat year to date, but this past month it's shot up about 10%. The last zip code that we're going to look at is 32413. Again, number of listings is relatively flat. Right now we're sitting at 821. If we look at the absorption rate over the past few months, like 32408, we see that it shot up way past where we were at last year. So I think this one, 32413 and 32408, are what's contributing to the overall stats that show this just shooting up over the past few months. Right now we're sitting at around 10.6 months of inventory. So even though this number is way higher, it's actually lower than some of these others. So it's lower than 32407, it's lower than the 32408 zip code. So there's less inventory on the west end of Panama City Beach than there is anywhere else, but it's still high. We're still in a buyer's market overall, 3 zip codes. If we look at the sold to list ratio, this one's sitting at 92%, so slightly better than the other 2 zip codes. Days on market's right around 100 days right now. It's come down a little bit. Average sale price in this zip code, if we look at the year-to-date number, it's down 10%. If we look at the median sale price year-to-date, it's down about 11.6%. Median sale price, if we're just looking at April 2025 versus 2024, it's down about 7%. If we look at the average sale price for April alone, it's up slightly, 3.4%. If we look at the sold listings, we see that year to date, it's down 13% for 32413, so definitely slower. And if we look at April alone, it's down almost 25%, so way less buyers closed transactions in April. Pending listings is down 7% and it's down 6%. So my guess is May's numbers, when they come out, they'll probably be still negative in these values for the number of closed listings. If we look at the number of new listings hitting the market year to date, it's up 10%. Last month alone, it's up 20%. There's a bunch of new construction neighborhoods in this zip code, Bayside at Ward Creek, Saltgrass at Ward Creek, Breakwater at Ward Creek. That may be contributing to these, as well as Margaritaville. And then it seems as though a lot of the path of growth in Panama City Beach is kind of centered around this 32413 zip code, because we're bordered by 30A on the west side of us. We've got Inlet Beach, and then on the east side you've got Highway 79, Pier Park, all of that, which they're building the Top Golf. They opened up the McGuire's back in March. So yeah, it seems like a lot of the growth is happening on this side. So that could make sense for this number of new listings to be higher in this area, since there's more development going on. The last thing I want to look at is the mortgage rates. This has kind of been all over the place. For a while, towards the end of last year, they were coming down. We hit sort of a low of 6.08% back in September, and then it shot up to 7% in January. And then since then, it's actually come down a little bit. We're sitting at 6.8 months. To me, I wouldn't expect, a huge drop off in interest rates. I got a feeling that they're probably just going to be hanging around, the 6.5 to 7% range for, a pretty long time. So hopefully all of this is helpful. If you are thinking about buying in Panama City Beach, I would love to help you in your home search and help you find the right property that fits your needs. With all the stats that we've seen, average sale price is down and inventory is up. So if you're a buyer, that means that you've got a lot of options, and there's probably a good chance that you can get a good deal on the right property. And then also, if you're a seller, it's more important now than ever that you use an agent that knows the market and knows what's going on. So I would love to help you out too. And if you're curious what has gone on over the past 7 days, I'm going to add a link in the description with all the new properties that hit the market. But I will see you next time.